And so again, we've been looking into a lot of different techniques. We've been looking into how you are grounding yourself and connecting to certain states of consciousness so that you are becoming a proficient, receptive, attuned healer. But the whole idea here is that as healers, we can only ever heal ourselves. We will always be, forever and ever, self-healers. That's the nature of our relationship when it comes to the aspect of healing. And so as a self-healer, when we look at the word heal, what does it mean to heal? Because we hear this a lot. We hear a lot of people say, oh yeah, I'm a Reiki healer, I'm a quantum touch healer, I'm a shamanic healer. What does it mean to heal in that particular way? To heal itself simply represents the ability to uplift to a connected, unified state. So when you are healing, you are returning yourself back into a genuine, optimal level of being. And that represents a being of unification, a true multi-dimensional, a true omnipresent being. That's what it is to heal, is to return ourselves to that uplifted state of consciousness. So being a self-healer is what we are always going to be. When we are dealing with others, all we can ever be are facilitators. That's who we are. We are always contributing energy. We are sharing energy with another person or with another group, for example. And that person takes that form of energy and their own body utilizes that energy to heal, to uplift, to attune, to vibrate into a form of resonance that brings them into an authentic, purified, unified level of consciousness. And so, as we are being the healers here, being the facilitators, we are contributing that universal energy to another. We are sharing in that energy. So as we've talked about in previous episodes, that it's very important to get to know our state of being when we are becoming a healer. So state OB, state of being. So if we are contributing energy to another person, we want to make sure that we are on that heightened level of awareness, that we are truly feeling that love vibration. If we're feeling down in the dumps, if we're feeling fearful, if we're feeling depressed, whatever it may be that is tainting us, then again, that particular energy is representing distortion. It's telling our body that there are certain forms of impairments. There's stagnancy in the body. And because we can't function as that universal energy, that universal crystal that is sharing this energy, we are going to now start to attach, anchor in that stagnant energy, and send that, share that, facilitate that to that individual. So this is where we are keeping ourselves neutralized. We are keeping ourselves centered. We are keeping ourselves grounded. We're keeping ourselves aligned into the best interpretation of what we know to be our highest, best good. That is how we continue to work as healers, as facilitators. But what does it mean when I'm saying that we are the gatekeeper? Because if we are the ones that are receiving this healing, it is not about another person healing us. Because basically when you're looking at very common aspects of healing, when you're doing some type of universal energy healing in that sense, but you know that this person, again, could be you, for example, but this person here is holding on to things. So these X's would represent, again, stagnancies. Now, if that person has put so much energy into holding on to those stagnancies, It doesn't matter if you hold this energy for up to 24 hours. That person is not going to receive that energy because they are not open to this energy coming through. It's just going to bounce off of them. Their energy doesn't welcome them in because they have identified those particular aspects of stagnancy as a part of their own identity. And so a person who may have back problems, a person who may have headaches or migraines, diabetes, whatever it may be, they are holding on to those aspects because they utilize those for sympathy, the feeling of being pitiful, that I have this disease, it's so awful, I don't know if I can ever get rid of it, etc., etc. That's not an open mind. So basically, this person is a gatekeeper. They are closing all the doors, they are closing all the gates, and preventing themselves from liberating themselves from these particular feelings. So when we have a healer, and this person is open to the possibility of allowing these particular impairments, these stagnancies, to become liberated, now we can help them. Now we can do that, right? We get into this mentality of feeling that as a healer, there's nothing we can't do. No. There are some things you can't do. The reason why that is because this person has free will. If this person is not willing to be healed, if they are not willing to be helped, if they are not wanting assistance, there is nothing you can do. That's something you have to realize. This person has to allow themselves to be helped. They have to realize that what they're holding on to can have the opportunity to liberate. But if they utilize that form of disease, that illness, that impairment, that stagnancy, if they see that as part of their identity, then they're the gatekeepers. They're the ones that are locking that energy down. They're putting it behind the bars and saying, nope, you can't take this from me. This is mine. There's no way I'm going to get rid of it. It's who I am. I need my pain. Right? And so that's all you have to respect, is to realize, okay, they're holding on to that. They're putting it behind the gates, and there's nothing I can do. Now, if we look at a person who is completely open-minded, who absolutely loves the idea of healing, who loves the idea of being able to work with universal energy, alternative energy practices, and they become an open conduit, completely open to our ability to facilitate healing, these people will have amazing experiences. They're keeping themselves open. They are welcoming in that energy that is being facilitated by them. And now they can allow themselves to have their body utilize that energy in any way that is necessary to help improve their being, to uplift them to a connected, unified state of consciousness. So that is how it will work, is always keeping yourself as open as possible. So again, we just have some people out there that are very much into the Western medicine, that it's about pill popping, that it's about the easy button when it comes to aligning yourself. When it's not even just about the idea of physical injury or physical ailments. So many people want an easy button. And I will say this right now. If you're following a path of enlightenment, this doesn't exist. There's no such thing as an easy button. If you are truly looking to expand yourself, to enlighten yourself as a healer, just in regards to your own spiritual path, your own self-journey, this doesn't exist. When you try and cop yourself out by going into an easy button, you will distort yourself even more. Because again, there's no magic button to press. There's no magic formula. It's not about saying, oh my goodness, Reiki must be it. It must be the answer for me. And that's what's going to expand me to untold levels of consciousness. No. It is you yourself that is going to utilize such a tool as Reiki or any other form of universal energy healing modality to helping you understand yourself. You're the operator. You're the gatekeeper. So being the gatekeeper, being the operator, is being able to see that you hold the power. Everything that represents vibration, frequency, energy is all cast through you. It's not about the technique that you use. The technique is just a complement to how you as creator are deciding to uplift yourself, to how you are looking to improve yourself, right? So as a healer, we need to come into a state of humility. And this state of humility is the understanding we can't help everybody, because some people just don't want to be helped. So we can't help everyone. And for me personally, that always hurt me when I said that. I can't help everybody. Oh, jeez. I would love to. I would love to be able to bring all 7 billion humans with me and moving us up into higher density and seeing an incredible transformation unfold to the idea of the collective humanity. I'm pretty sure all of us would like to see that. People just aren't ready. They're just not. They're just still very much in that world where they feel that they need an easy button. I don't want to be bothered with this. I got a 9-to-5 job. I got a corporate job, or I got this job and I'm paying the bills. Then I got to go home. I got to take care of the kids. Then I got to go pay for the car. I got to go do my mortgage payment. I got to do this. I got to do that. And I got to do the other thing. Can you just give me an easy button to enlightenment? No, it doesn't exist. If you want an easy button, if you're trying to look for an easy button, a quick fix to enlighten yourself, you're going to be searching outside of yourself forever and ever and ever. Enlightenment does not require an easy button. It is not about an easy button. It is about working on yourself. So if we go back into this example of a person who put those feelings, those stagnant energies of themselves behind the gate, we have to look at that and say, why is this person doing that? Because they have not come to terms with themselves of feeling that this form of ailment is something that they have been able to attract. What does it mean when we are a creator? This is a big question I want to ask everybody here. What is it to be a creator? When we create, what does that mean? All we are basically doing is we are playing with perspective. To create your own reality is to perceive it in your own unique way. It is not about snapping your fingers and all of a sudden a loaf of bread pops in your hand. When you are creating your reality, you are initiating a particular perspective of your own viewpoint, your own vantage point, to give you a grasp of what experience is to you. And so you are perceiving the aspect of reality. To create is to perceive. It is to give perspective about how you understand creation, about how you understand reality, about how you understand your life, your existence. That's all it is to be a creator. So, as a creator here, if we're holding on to the idea of heart murmurs or digestional problems, who knows, put else, whatever else you want to put in there. All of these things that we're holding on to is something that we have created, means that we have perceived, because this is how we see ourselves. Okay, little either. This is how we have seen ourselves in that way, because we have always relied so much on the external world. We have relied so much on physicality. We have relied so much about other people's perspectives that we have not given ourselves a moment to feel what is important to us. So when we are being belittled, when we are being ridiculed, when we are being attacked, whatever it may be, all of those particular forms of opinions and perspectives, and feeling that we need to meet other people's expectations, then basically we are creating a life, perceiving a life that is not our own. And the universe is always telling us, all right, well, if this is what you want to put out about feeling that you need to listen to what others are telling you and follow them, then your body is going to tell you this is why you have all of this. This is why you have diabetes. This is why you have a bad back. This is why you have headaches or migraines. This is why you have heart murmurs, whatever it may be. You have all that because it is your own body being degraded because of the emotional states that you are placing upon yourself, because you live for other people's expectations of you. You live for their own state of value, and you don't live for your own. And so, because we have indoctrinated ourselves in that, our gates are basically securing this form of stagnant energy. And so we can't come to terms with ourselves because we still see this as identity. So it's going back into previous videos about looking into how we are able to open up those gates and being able to look into what these mean to us. There's all kinds of ailments. There's all kinds of disorders and dysfunctions and illnesses, etc. They're out there, but they're all just different manifestations of ourselves, because we have to look in regards to when this disease first started. When did this impairment first happen? What was I going through at the time? How was my emotional state? How was I feeling about myself? How was I feeling about others? So we need to really look and evaluate into how all this came here. And as we're able to look back into those aspects, we want to develop a state of acknowledgement, a state of forgiveness, and a state of liberation. So we need to acknowledge, again, these things. And realizing, does this serve me to hold on to an ailment, to hold on to an illness, to hold on to a stagnation that does not serve me? Can I give myself the permission to make it feel like I can heal these, that I can genuinely bring them into the light, and that I can transcend them? Do I give myself permission to do that? This is, again, being our own gatekeeper. Being a self-healer is all about us giving permission. There is no being ever outside of yourself that has given you these ailments. That's not possible. There's no one else here. You are creator. You are your own universe. You have put every single thing into yourself. It is not a God sitting on a cloud that has said, here you go, here's diabetes. Here you go, here's a bad back. Here you go, here's a migraine. No, it doesn't work that way. When we are vulnerable, we enable ourselves to become vulnerable, to opening this gateway up, because we feel impaired. We feel disempowered. And all this energy emotionally comes into our bodies, and it's telling us, hey, you're not taking care of yourself. You're not valuing yourself. You're not honoring yourself. And so because you're causing this degradation, you're allowing energy to stagnate, it'll manifest as these particular forms of ailments, these illnesses. So again, we will have the idea of deficiencies. We will have the idea of quote-unquote disorders or dysfunctions. To me, I personally don't describe it the idea of disorder, because you always have the capability to reorder yourself. So again, all of these aspects that we have, regardless of what they are, all have a capability of liberation. But we need to look into the inside. We need to look within ourselves. We need to go beyond the gates as we are functioning as a gatekeeper and decide exactly what is it that I want here. Yes, I want to heal these. Yes, I want to be free of these particular ailments. This stagnancy, I want to be free of it. So in order for us to do that, we need to open up that gate. We need to find out exactly, how did everything get here? How did this ailment get into me? Well, because I haven't been honest with myself. I've been putting so many other people's expectations of me first rather than my own. And I could feel all this emotional tension. I could feel that there were some pains in my side because I was constantly doing work that I don't like. I was constantly in friendships with people who would constantly judge and ridicule me. And I could feel that pain in my side. Or again, people always had such demand of me that I had to meet everybody's expectations. And this gave me super strong headaches and migraines, right? So now we're seeing how it all ties together. And this is where we feel a very harsh truth, because this is where enlightenment will truly come in. Enlightenment is going to give you truth. Okay? It's not going to give you this easy button where it's popping a pill, where it's denying yourself, where it's feeling that you just need to try some other practice and that will take care of it. No, it won't. It's not about this. It's about truth. So as just mentioned, relating to those examples, I am around toxic people. I'm around people who I feel do not compliment me as a human being, because I'm always moving into a state of demand that they expect of me. Is it these people's fault? No, it's not. It's because this is what I've attracted. Because this is how I see myself in reality. Nobody else outside of yourself is responsible for your own ailments. It is you. And this is where you have to come into that realization. That's your truth. You've attracted all of these particular people in your life who you felt have impaired you. Because there are certain things about yourself that you are not yet seeing. Well, Brad, how do I see it? You need to trace back. You need to go into your timelines. As a healer, you're looking back into this particular event, okay? How did I get these really bad migraines? Can I remember it? Oh yeah, it was back when I was 6 years old. And there was a big fight between my mom and my dad, and there was arguing and fighting, and I was under so much duress. I was absolutely overwhelmed. And the next morning I woke up, I had this enormous migraine. Well, there you go. This is telling you all about a trauma that has happened within your timelines, right? So again, being a gatekeeper, being a self-healer, the true aspect to healing is looking back into where all of these things have stemmed from, to looking into the root causes. Because we can certainly use a lot of the techniques that we talked about in the previous episodes, but the most important part is being able to trace back to where these root issues that have created heavy stagnancy, heavy illness, impairment physically, mentally, emotionally, where they all started from. We need to trace the root cause. We need to come back to this area. Here it was when I was 6 years old. And this happened. So now we need to go back into that timeline. We need to go back into the root. And we need to forgive that. We need to forgive that aspect of ourself where we felt our parents were fighting. And we're reliving that memory. And the parents were fighting because they were not getting along with each other. They were just not a compatible couple. It had nothing to do with me. But I felt bad because it was my mom, it was my dad. And I felt horrible because I didn't like it when they fought. And all I would do was cry and cry and cry and get so stressed out. The next morning, I'd wake up with a horrible migraine, right? And I was crying all the time, right? So we need to go to that 6-year-old version of ourselves, and we need to love that 6-year-old version of ourselves and say, it's okay. It's all right. Let's come together. Let's love this situation. Because it's all part of this that has grown me, that has allowed me to mature and brought me into a state of growth that has now shown me a state of empowerment. Because as children, we're just absorbing everything. We're absorbers as children. We're sponges. And so we need to come back to that 6-year-old, to that 8-year-old, that 10-year-old, that 2-year-old version of ourselves and give ourselves a big hug, right? We have to find out exactly where all of these aspects stem. We need to discover our root source. Is that easy to do? No, it's not. It's a big challenge because we have to really, like this guy, open ourselves up, become a receptive conduit, open ourselves up. And saying, well, Brad, maybe I've had experiences off planet. Maybe I've been abducted by ETs, etc., or whatever it may be. Well, again, there's certain aspects there, right? Looking into the idea of what you may have gone through as a child, about what they were doing to you. And again, it's the same principle. It's still going into that aspect of memory, looking into that young, scared version of yourself and giving them love, regardless of what's happened. If it was an abusive situation, if it was an argument, if it was a conflict, if it was a physical assault, whatever it may have been, we need to go to that younger version of ourselves and we need to make peace with that situation. This is where it's not an easy button. That is not easy to do. To be able to forgive something so extreme takes so much courage, so much inner strength, that nothing of an easy button could ever remedy that. It's not about pills. It's not about a technique. It's about you. You are the gatekeeper. You have to go inside your timelines, and you have to discover exactly where all this trauma has stemmed from. You need to spend time with that younger version of yourself and being able to work together in that state of unity, forming that love. Saying, no matter what happened, here I am today. And this is who I am today. This is where I've recognized myself to be. This is what I've realized. This is what I've acknowledged. And now I'm opening myself up to forgiveness. I can accept what happened. And that's the biggest thing. Acceptance is one of the most powerful catalysts to healing there is. Okay? It doesn't matter what style of healing you do. It's not important. It's the style of healing that you have chosen as a gatekeeper that allows you to have this. That allows you to have acceptance with yourself. And being able to go into these timelines. Whether that's through hypnosis, whether that's going into dream state, whether that's meditating on it, whatever it may be. Going into these timelines and being able to develop forgiveness to the aspects of yourself that has been hurt. So you as the gatekeeper are being able to align to acceptance and open up this gate and look at those aspects of stagnancy. Because when you come to terms with them, you'll be amazed about how the quick transitional effect happens, where these impairments will now start to become healed. They'll start to retune themselves. They'll become attuned. Vibration. You will align yourself immediately to another version of yourself that is absent of these particular forms of impairments. That's how it works. The only reason you're impaired is because you're still giving power to that impairment as a gatekeeper. So the only way that the gatekeeper is ever going to heal themselves is to open up these gates, take themselves on a tour through their timelines, take themselves on a tour through their memories about where these forms of pain happen. And it's true. Sometimes we don't know when it happens, and this is where we need to explore. Maybe we need to go into hypnosis. Maybe we need to talk to somebody. And being able to get an understanding about where these things stem from. And it's absolutely okay to talk to another person, whether it's a counselor, an intuitive, a psychic, whatever it may be. Absolutely, that's why they're there. To helping you explore these areas of memory that have caused heartache, that have caused pain, and being able to look into them and saying, can I forgive this? Can I accept what's happened? Can I stop the blame game, thinking that it's everybody else's fault? And that I'm the victim here, right? Victimhood, again, is an impairment. It's not an empowerment. So again, if you feel that you have been completely abused and accused and hurt and made this particular target, it's understandable. But the whole idea, as long as you continue to dwell on that and feel that it's everybody else's fault, you will only continue to develop, continue to attract, continue to create and perceive other people who will be the abusers because you have labeled yourself the victim. So this is just some stuff to reflect on about the importance of you understanding that you're a self-healer, that you're a gatekeeper, and you need to open up your gates, and you need to look into your timelines. You need to go on a tour of your own memories and work in resolve, no matter the condition. This is the hard path. This is not the easy path. It's like looking at Star Wars, right? With the light side and the dark side. The dark side was the quick and easy path. The feeling that you could just hit the easy button and just continue to go off into darkness, right? But when you're looking into the light, this is a much more difficult path. The light is a very difficult path to walk. It's not easy, right? You have to look into developing natural acceptance, natural realization, natural forgiveness. Forgiveness must be your grandest tool. And if you are having problems with that, you need to take time out. You need to put a pause on your reality in regards to everything that represents obligations. And you need to spend some time with yourself. You need to look into these alignments and saying, what's happening here? Is this an alignment I prefer? No. All right, so let me look into the root cause. Let me discover acceptance. Let me send love. Let me forgive. And let me be that open receptacle to allow myself to truly be a healer, an uplifter, an attunement that will allow me to continue to develop myself, improve myself, and become more of what I am. Multidimensional, omnipresent, truly one being. Thank you so much for watching, and I will speak to you again in the next episode. Take care, namaste, and may it be well with you. Goodbye.